Hola, hola, ¿cómo están? Bueno, este episodio va a ser en inglés, así que voy a subtitularlo después para que lo puedan ver en YouTube. Si lo están escuchando en el podcast, en YouTube lo van a poder leer y seguir en castellano. So, this is my friend Andrew. Hi, Andrew.
Hello.
And he's my guest today, so we are going to talk about identity and how it is constructed. And I think it is something really important to talk about because the way we see ourselves, the way we choose to identify ourselves with activities, with emotions, etiquetas. Shit. Stereotypes. Yeah. So I think it's really interesting how that stereotypes are constructed in our minds and how it affects us the way we project our future. You know, like it is kind of limiting. And when you can see that, you have the power to change it. So you really have the power to create a new identity. So, Andrew, what do you feel about your identity? How do you think it was built?
So, I had some thoughts before this, but as you were talking, it just came to me. I'll talk about my experience here in Capiccia and how I'm able to observe my identity in a space that allows me to be vulnerable in that space. So when I arrived here, I had this thought like, I'm here in Capiccia, and that kind of created a new chapter in the book of my life, that I was here. And I didn't know what that meant at the time, but I was able to realize it. I could feel it. And then a little bit later, I just realized that I'm here and that it doesn't matter the place where I'm at. It's just that I'm here, I'm in my body, and I'm present. And now I have this feeling that it is just one moment of creation that I'm in, and that is where identity is created. It is in this present moment. And for most of my life, I tried to run away from who I was, but I've been softly guided closer and closer to who I truly am. So for me, to be me is to observe myself and my actions and place myself in places where my fear arises, so that I can sit in that discomfort and allow the darkness inside myself to be felt and exposed by the light. So it's a slow process, but it doesn't stop. It is creation, and creation is as simple as breathing, just in and out. So.
Yeah, I really like that concept you bring to us, that identity is just the present. It's like what you are right now, and you can choose what you are. You can choose to not identify it anymore with some beliefs that are not what you really believe about yourself. It's just, what do you think that built that paradigm?
Paradigm.
Yeah. What do you think? I don't know. Your family, the society, the culture, the stigmas. I don't know what else you can identify, like building your beliefs that are not really yours.
So for it's my experiences, and my experiences shift how I perceive, and with each experience I have, it's as though I'm going through stages of life, like we as human beings are no different than flowers. You know, I go through these different stages, and in those certain stages there are a set of behaviors, of habits that I adapt to, so that I can go through the lessons that I need to go through at that point of my existence. And then as I grow, they're like the skin of a snake, or something that isn't needed. Something I practice is just what is it? It's letting go of that which does not serve me. And if it doesn't serve me now, then I accept it. I'm grateful for it, for how it served me, for in those experiences where I needed that either protection or guidance. And as I grow, those experiences turn into fire, and those energies are released and go to where they're best served. So yeah, for the experiences that I had when I was real young, my mother, my father, my brother, my close friends, those were needed to give me a certain worldview that I needed to start with in this life. But they were just basic foundations. And then as I got older, as a child, as a scientist, I would do things to change that environment and push. And that's kind of where we reach stigma, is when we push and it's reflected back at us in a way that where we have to sit in it, because it's like a wall. Like we reach a certain point with certain people or animals, or you name it, but there's a certain point where we reach a point where it's not accepted, and it's in that space where we can sit and look at what kind of brought us to that energy, of that space, and why do we need to feel that way in that moment. And for a lot of it, like trauma is something we get into and we don't know why, but when we are able to grieve that experience and move through that energy, we can start to accept the teachings that those lessons had.
Do you think like we have an identity inside of us, something that is really us, unique, Or do you think that we just build that every day, in every moment, and that we can really choose who we want to be, you know? I got you.
I'm not. I don't know if I'm able to answer that directly, because I feel that there's like not two sides, but there's different portions of this. There's our pure self, the diamond, the cut diamond that's deep inside. That diamond is the creator.
Yeah.
So we are the creation and the creator at the same time.
Yeah, the co-creator.
So that pure self, I don't believe that it's an actual thing. It's just pure. Maybe it's essence. It's like stardust or something that is timeless, that's endless, and over lifetime after lifetime, and in our dreams and all our experiences, we're fine-tuning who we are. We're just like chipping little pieces off the diamond. I don't want to say we're perfecting ourselves, because that sounds like it's from the ego. It sounds like something that, but we're. I was in a Native American gathering, and one of the elders said, and he said this over and over. He said, "I am me, remembering you, remembering me," and that teaches me that everything's just the way it is, the way it should be, and the changes I'm going through right now are exactly what I need, and I can do it. I can go through these changes. Dead end.
Yeah, I think I believe the same. You know, I think that we have this truly identity, that it comes from the source, that it is the concept that we are all one. So the essence of everyone is the same, I believe. And I also think that we have this other part of the being that we can build. It's not build, it's like integrate. Like, we are here experiencing duality. So we have all these aspects inside of us, like love and fear and ego and soul, and we are here to learn to manage that, like experiencing fear, experiencing love, and then you can find the middle, the center, and the balance. And so you have the resources to integrate all in your being, and you have the free to choose where I am going to be today, in the fear or in love. And so identity, it means to me being conscious of that essence, of that source. Because when you feel trapped, or when you feel like you are not able to integrate your identity or to choose who you want to be, the answer is to connect with the source, to connect with the essence, because you are being guided through your intuition. So the way you just said that we are channeling ourselves every time, like better, like thinking about that like a radio thing. We are channeling ourselves better every day. So we have to be compassionate with ourselves, because the frequency we are choosing today to channel ourselves with, it might not be the same. We could choose tomorrow.
Yeah.
So when you are aware of this, it's hard because it's like, but if tomorrow I choose something different, then it means that it doesn't work. It doesn't worth everything that I'm doing today. No, yes, it worth, but I mean, you have to be flexible. You don't. The structure here is not the answer, and that is another point of building this identity, integrating, because you have to know this polarity of structure and control and like flow. They are polarized concepts. So when you learn to identify where you need structure and where you need to flow, that is when you are really connecting with who you want to be and be able to manifest things without even having that intention.
So I feel like, this goes back to what we were talking about before, is like our identity is all it is a set of behaviors. It's a set of habits.
Yeah.
And it's not about changing all our behaviors at once. It's about observing our behaviors, observing how we act, and observing how we react inside. And if we can just focus on a couple behaviors at a time and go through those behaviors and see why we do those behaviors and where is our intention. Who are we trying to please, or where is our energy going? If we...
Yeah, what for?
Because when we see where our intentions lie, we can see within that polarity of fear and love. If we're doing things because we're afraid of how other people are going to feel, then maybe we can start to see those behaviors with, what can I do with those behaviors that makes me happy?
Yeah.
That makes me feel okay. And if we have behaviors where we feel we get in this paradox of, well, I'm going to do that because it's going to make that person happy. If we are doing that with the intention of knowing that we're not hurting ourselves, then it's okay. But if we're hurting ourselves, then we're not helping anyone.
Yeah, it's like you want to do something for someone, like, I want to make you happy because I'm afraid if I don't do that, you are going to leave me, you are going to walk away. So it is a nice attitude, but it is based on fear. So it is not good for me.
Yeah.
I think when it comes to create an identity, you want to be have the courage to make yourself difficult questions, uncomfortable questions like these ones, like, why I am doing this, what is the benefit from this, and what other thing can I do to feel security in this relationship. So maybe I just can talk about it, We are kind of programmed from childhood to do that, to not really making these questions to ourselves, just questioning the other.
Yeah.
Like, why are you leaving? Yeah, but what have I done for you to leave? It's really hard to look at yourself from an objective point of view. So it is hard, but at the same time, it is so clarifying because you can really see what you are doing wrong. And wrong, I don't mean bad, it just means like you are not really being kind to yourself by doing that. Yeah. You can get the same benefits by doing something in other way. Yeah. So when it comes to relationships, to like friendships or family and that, it is really hard to change your identity when you are still on the same comfort zone, like with the same persons, with the same activities every day. So I think something very important to transmit here is like you have to train your ego so it can accept that he's going to die, that a part of you, your whole identity is dying, because you are choosing consciously not to be who you are being. And to do that, you have to die, and when you die, you have to rebuild yourself. You have this rebirth that it can't be in the same place where you die. Yeah. And it is really hard to understand, because sometimes it is quite, I don't want to say easier, but like you have reasons sometimes, really hard reasons to go away from some people or from some places or circumstances. But I just found myself so surrounded by love and really nice people, and it was so difficult for me to accept that they wasn't aligned with my purpose, with my projections from the future, for the identity, for the person I wanted to be. So I had to accept that I had to go away from there. And it was really hard. It is still hard for me to see this distance that I feel I choose to put. Like, we are still in contact, we love each other, we still share a lot of things, but I really feel like in the other side of the world, like living a different dimension. And it is hard. I don't know if you have just feel like that.
That's the story of my life. Somebody put it into perspective for me. They said, you meet somebody for a season, a reason, or a lifetime. And when we have close relationships and we know that they're coming to an end or they have ended, it's like ripping open a wound when it's over, because you shared so much with that person, with those people. And it's not everybody has to be in our life all the time, and it's okay to accept that there was a person or people in our lives for a certain amount of time, and they presented us with much information, and as did we to them. So nothing was left undone, and everybody that we've met has brought a piece of ourselves back to ourselves. So there's...
Oh, it's so nice. Yeah.
It's, there's been people who, have hurt me, and that's okay, and I've done the work to accept them for who they are, and to accept that whatever life that they're living is the story they're telling themselves, and it's okay, and I don't have to put myself in their story. I can focus on my story and love people and accept that it may not be forever. And that's what's so sacred about the moment, is that whoever we're around, whenever we're around them, that relationship may not be forever. So for us to just, for me to just, that's what being in the moment is, or being grateful is being in the moment with the people you're around and enjoying the fruit of that creation in that moment. And that's where we can create the new identity, not with other people, but doing that inside ourselves as well, and knowing that there's parts of ourselves that we have to let go of and let die, so that we can, because creation is birth and death at the same time.
Yeah, you have to have an empty space to fulfill it with another thing.
Yeah. And so, yeah, sometimes we're going to go through things that are really hard, and we're going to experience things that we don't consciously want to go through, but we're in those experiences because we can, and because that's what we're going through in those experiences. We're going through those experiences for that reason. And it's
If you want to know who you are being today, you can start by looking at your environment.
See.
So then you can ask yourself what makes you uncomfortable, and what do you want to change from that environment. So then you take that inside of you, like, what do I have to change in me so that in my environment that I am seeing that it's uncomfortable to see changes. So I think that is the process, the way it works. It's like helping me a lot doing this exercise writing, that I like thinking about my life like a story. So I choose the main character to be me, and I can rewrite the characteristics of that character every time that I want. So putting all that ideas in words and then putting those words in paper, it just gives you the power to manifest what you want to be. And it is important too that you can have that clarity of who you want to be, because maybe we can think about that and we can visualize ourselves having those dreams come true, but we are not really aware of what it takes to have that dreams come true. Like, if you want $1 million, yeah, okay, but if I give you that today to you, do you really know what to do with that? Do you have a purpose? Do you have a knowledge? Do you want to save it? Do you want to do investment? Do you know how to do that? Like, you have to prepare for that. So it's not just about what you want in your life. It's who you want to be, and if you focus on what your soul is really desiring for you to concrete in your life, you have the clue of who you have to be there, to have that. And if you train in meditation, in every way, if you train the connection with your intuition, it will be easier for you to channel yourself with that frequency, with that identity you have to take in your life. So I think about identity as a vehicle that can get you to your dreams. You know, like it's a resource. It's something that you can't completely identify with your identity because it will be limiting you in some point. So be aware that who we are choosing to be today is leading us to some point. So you can be in automatic pilot going nowhere or going somewhere you don't know, or you can be aware of this and use all these tools just to know where, okay, I am going there. So what do I need to really get there in my automatic pilot so I can focus my energy in enjoy life. You know, like when you have your purpose so clearly identify, and then you know what habits you have to take over in your daily life, and when you have this discipline to do it, even when you don't feel like it, because that is the key. People think that it is easy to build habits, and it is not. And that makes the difference between who really accomplish the dreams and who doesn't, because they just give up without even trying. Don't identify with your identity, and if you don't like who you are being today, you can really control it. You can create a new version of yourself, just being aware that your actual version has to die. And you have to prepare for that, and you have to have the courage to build this new self. Yeah.
Take it slowly. There's no rush. There's no urgency to change everything. It's just focus on little things and work on those little things. And when we work on little things over and over and over again, and then we have other little things that we work on, eventually it becomes a big change. And so it's like, be easy and soft, and we don't need to try to force changes. Just focus on small little things that we do and observe those in a way where we're not identifying with our identity. We're identifying with, these are just accumulated behaviors that we have learned.
Yeah.
And it's possible to unlearn those, to change them into behaviors that suit who we are and who we know we are. And that's where the discomfort comes in, because when we've set a set of behaviors for a long time, we sit in those behaviors and they start to run our lives, and we take a back seat in our life. We allow those behaviors to tell us who we are. But as we slowly change those into behaviors that suit our true selves, then, I don't know, I believe it's a snowball effect. It starts very small, and then eventually we hit the ground running, and there's no limits to who we can be. It's a beautiful thing about being human.
Yeah, so nice. So it takes the same amount of energy being who you are today that being who you want to be. I think that is really important. It's not an extra effort you have to make. It is really easy. When you are really aware of this, it is really easy. So just do it. Just do it. Change yourself. Yeah, so nice. So thank you very much. Next time we should do it in some place we can control the environment and the light, so people can see us.
Yeah. Can't see me?
Thank you for your time and your energy and your love. And yeah, I really appreciated this.
Well, thank you. It's been this has been incredible. I'm very grateful for this opportunity to be able to share this space.
Yeah.
And this amazing conversation.
Thank you. So thank you all for watching or listening this, and see you in the next chapter.
Ciao.
Ciao.